I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you all for coming. This community is designed to support you in that time. It's really to utilize when things are bad and when you're at your lowest.
I started to learn about emotions. I started to learn about finding root causes, right? Starting to understand addiction and how addiction is not, once again, the issue that we are using a negative stimulus as a coping mechanism.
Part of my mission is to make sure people know that everything we need comes in a natural form. It's already here for us.
I am determined. I am strong. And I am ready.
We must first lovingly accept what is. I often say, you can't heal a body you hate.
This is healthy blood cells. And that's what we're aiming for. So you can see the contrast. Okay? What you do matters.
Thank you all for coming. Be blessed.
Oh, so lovely. So lovely. How are you doing, Sasha?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. It's been a week. I was telling you before the retreat. It is a beautiful experience, but it's stressful. It's like planning a wedding. And I'm looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna drop the link for y'all. If you guys want to join the retreat, we've got it going. We're gonna be starting on the 20th of September, which is Friday.
Wow,
Right?
3 days. 3
Couple
days.
days out. I just got the booklets. So for those who are gonna be here in person, we got the books. And I was showing Steve, and he was like, "Man, these are nice, man. These are the best ones you've ever done." And I was like, "That's funny because the booklets we have today, the team did everything. Like they basically took what I had did in the past, and they just did it, and they look great. So that's what's up.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yep. We are very, very excited. And I'm gonna be teaching a whole different type of lesson at the retreat this year. I decided to kind of change it up because usually I talk about water fasting and stuff that we kind of always talk about on the channel. But
Yeah.
then this year I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do something different. I'm going to talk about how I kind of learn health and wellness, and how I research, and then also talk about the new thing that I'm learning right now, the new thing I'm researching. So I'm excited to share that.
That sounds good. Yeah. Do you know what? I think whenever you share personal stories of how you got into it, it helps people to really see themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when they see the finished product, you know what I mean? You know all this information and you've got all this to share. They don't know where it began. It never begins like that. So that's cool. That's really exciting.
Yeah, and the thing about that is it's really important for people to be able to, like, I don't want people to just listen to me or just listen to you. They got to learn how to do their own research. Some people like just consuming information. They don't got to do the research. So for those people, cool. But for other people, some people like to do their own research and learn. And I want to teach them how I learn and see if it resonates with them.
Yeah, why not? That sounds really good. That's very cool. I can't wait to hear the feedback on that. That's going to be excellent. It's
Yeah.
good to change up the style sometimes,
We're gonna shake it up a little bit. Plus, we have quite a few people who have actually been to, like, the people that come to the retreats. They come every year. So
Oh, okay.
I also want to make sure that people who are repeat, they come. It's like, okay, they're getting something fresh
New
and new.
content. Absolutely. That's important. Yeah, absolutely. I love
Yes.
that. That's amazing. And this year's kind of special because people that can't actually make it in person are able to see it virtually, right?
Yeah. So we've got the normal amount of people that typically come in person. We still were able to service that. So we usually have about between 30 and 50 people that come in person. And
Okay.
then, but in addition to that, now we've got the virtual tickets so people could just join.
That's so cool. I think that's really, really good. Well, I can't wait to hear all about it. Oh my gosh.
We'll be, you already know. I'll let you know how it all goes. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll be
It
great.
will be, absolutely. So we're here today again to talk about the new course that is starting on the 29th. Whoop, 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 whoop. I
The
cannot wait.
29th of September.
Is it 29th or 27th? Hold on. I'm sure it's 29th. Let me just
yeah.
make sure. I'm sure I just said the right day. Yes, Sunday the 29th. Absolutely. Just want to make sure. So it starts at 7 p.m. CST, which is 8 p.m. EST for you New Yorkers and Toronto and all of that. And it is running until the 17th of October. So it is 3 weeks. On the Sundays, of course, those are the lecture days. Those are the days where I'm actually teaching. And on the Thursdays, it's the Q&A sessions where you get a chance to really ask questions about the content, but not only about the content, but what's going on for you personally in terms of your endocrine system. Because as I'm teaching, you may find, which commonly happens, that it's relevant to what you're going through, the symptoms that you're experiencing. Oh, okay, that's that. That's what aligns to the PCOS. That aligns to fibroid tumors. That aligns to thyroid, hypothyroidism, hyper, Hashimoto's. Like, you may find as I'm teaching the content, oh, Sasha, that's me. So that's the perfect time to get your questions answered on the Thursday, relevant to the content, right? Okay, so today I want to talk about a culprit that sabotages your hormones. And this is not probably going to be new news. I'm sure everybody is very aware of what sugar does to us, but maybe they're not familiar with how detrimental simple sugars are to your hormonal health. Chris, tell me, you know this.
How detrimental they are?
Yeah.
It's basically like a hard drug. It's like heroin. It's like a hard drug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the hormonal health, sugar is a sweet sabotager. It literally is on a mission to sabotage all of your good efforts. All right. So I don't want to teach the lesson because there is a kind of tiny topic that we're going to go over in the course, but I do want to make you familiar with seeing sugar as a stressor. Okay. It is a stressor to the body. Now, whenever I say sugar is a stress to the body, the common denominator or the common question that comes up is, but what about fruits? What about fruits? Okay, fruits are not simple sugars. So let's get that clear. Let's differentiate between simple and complex. Let's start there, okay? So your simple sugars, you need to think of your donuts, your white sugars, your pastas, your bread, your white rice. Think about it this way. The whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead.
Huh.
Okay? And then when you want to think about complex sugars, you want to think about your ancient grains, your legumes, your fruits. Okay? And these complex sugars are broken down to the body. Think about it in like, it's slow and steady. The body uses it and it moves through slow and steady. Simple sugars, like your donuts, your croissants, your cookies, your white rice, your white pasta, your white bread, and this is just me giving examples, okay? These things, simple sugars, break down quickly. So you have this high amount of energy for a very short burst of energy, right? For a period of time. And then you drop. And that drop is so intense, okay, that you almost feel hungry again once the drop's over. Ghrelin has been ignited again, right? And then you feel yourself craving something else. For any of you out here that are still eating fast food, okay, no judgment, but tell the truth. After you've eaten a meal at the fast food joint of your choice, you're hungry again later. You just are. Why? Because it's simple sugar. And once it passes through the bloodstream in such a quick space of time, ghrelin which is a hormone produced in the gut, wakes up and says, I am hungry again. The hunger hormone ghrelin kicks in. And that is a direct result of the simple sugar passing quickly through the bloodstream. And as it does that, it creates a stress response, a cortisol response at the hormonal level. Okay. Now, why is this important? Because say you have that fast food that I'm talking about. Okay. Once in a blue moon. And when I say blue moon, how often do you see a blue moon? Okay. That's what I mean when I say blue moon. But if that's something you have every Saturday or every Friday when you're taking, the kids to basketball or wherever, just an example, you're actually creating a habit. You're actually creating a routine that your body becomes used to. It becomes used to that high amount of sugar, and that actually has a result at the hormonal level. So you've got to think about it in this way. Too much sugar, you're bringing it into the body, that puts stress on your organ. Which organ, may I say? First and foremost, your pancreas is going to get freaked out. Why? Because it has to produce insulin to match the amount of sugar that you've brought in. So anybody in a state of pre-diabetes or diabetes, this is really important for you. I've met a lot of diabetics that say, I can't eat fruit. The doctor said I can't eat fruit. No. You can't have simple sugars. Simple sugars raise your blood sugar ridiculously. Simple sugars are going to create more insulin resistance and more stress on the pancreas. But complex sugars, they come as a slow burn throughout the body. And if you couple them with leafy green vegetables, they're even slower to come through the system. And then if you put down an adequate amount of plant fat, essential fatty acids, omega-3, okay, a healthy amount of ratio of omega-6, if you do the 1-to-1 balance, otherwise just omega-3, what you'll find is you'll have a steady blood sugar response, even to fruit. But it has to be done in the correct way. And this is a thing. Oftentimes we demonize all sugar, and that's the wrong approach, unless you're in a cancerous situation. And if you're in a cancerous situation, it's very different. You can speak to me. You can book a free 20-minute consultation on my website. That's very different. Don't take what I'm saying here as golden if you're in a cancerous situation, because it's very different. And I'd rather give you the real insights on a 1-to-1 basis based on where you are in your cancer journey, rather than kind of just doing a blanket statement. Okay. But for everybody else, simple and complex are different. And it's very important that you are looking at the differences before you demonize sugar. Okay. Now let's talk about the one that is no good, because that's what we want to focus on. Okay. So a lot of the times people are suffering with irritability, mood swings, weight gain, all of those sorts of chronic inflammatory diseases, such as diabetes, endometriosis, PCOS, and you name it, right? But what they're not realizing is the sugar, if you're taking in simple sugars, you're actually inflaming the situation. You're creating more of what you don't want. And that is why I like to take the approach that simple sugars should not be a part of your daily life. The odd piece of cake at a birthday celebration is not the worst thing in the world. But you shouldn't be going to a birthday party every single day. Let's be real. That shouldn't be something you're doing every single day. If when you feel stressed, your idea of a good time is let me go get a piece of donut, or let me go get, I don't know, a Debbie cake, then there's something wrong. Because food addiction is real. You heard Katrina, our lovely guest, on Saturday talk about it. She shared, right, about how she was addicted to food. She's not the only one. There are so many people that use food as a tool, especially sugar, as a tool to not deal with emotions. And the truth is, you're going to create more emotional imbalance the more you have simple sugars. because it does something at the cellular level and creates more hormonal imbalance. Now, for any of my lovely ladies who are going through perimenopause or menopause, you are not out of the woods. Sugar is really not your friend during this time at all. That excess weight that you see that is creeping up around your midsection, that is a direct result of the cortisol that is being released when you have too much simple sugars. Your adrenals get heightened with the simple sugars, and then they crash, and then cortisol is released, and then ghrelin is released, and then you find yourself eating something that you said you wasn't going to have. Even though your willpower was there for the most part, there are moments where it just disappears and you don't understand. You said you wasn't going to have it. You had no intention of eating it. And look where we are again. Do you understand what I mean? Now, I also want to highlight something that people obviously don't realize, right? Because there is this like trend. I mean, I have TikTok and my daughter's always on TikTok, and you see things like people eating smoothies, right? Smoothie bowls, just a fruit. And it's healthy. It is. But guess what? If you have a hormonal imbalance and you do not pair the fruit correctly, even complex sugars can raise your blood sugar level. And this is why I always encourage people to make sure that you have your greens. If you have a fruit bowl, and let me give you an example, and you put some greens in there that are not strong tasting, like spinach has no taste when combined with fruits, but it balances how the fruits digest. It slows down the process. So you can enjoy an amazing fruit smoothie loaded with lots of different delicious tropical fruits and blah, blah, blah. But if you put a little bit of spinach in there when you blend it, you balance the timing of the fruit digestion without taking away the flavor. Oat milk is another one. Oats are simple sugars. When broken down, oat is a simple sugar. It's a grain, and it's not an ancient grain. Okay, so when you drink a cup of oat milk, you're basically drinking a cup of sugar. Is oat milk bad? No, it is not. But you have to be mindful of how much you're having and what you're pairing it with. For people that are going to have a 5-fruit smoothie and then they're going to put oat milk in it and a flavored oat milk with vanilla, well, guess what? You've now created a sugar storm in your system. So we have to be mindful of how we're doing it. This is not to demonize fruits. It's not to demonize oat milk, but it's knowledge is power. Understanding how to do things makes your body respond in the best possible way. And that is what we're aiming for. And that is why this course is so important. It's going to show you not only to understand about your hormones and how they function, but also, and how the organs function, but also what foods balance your hormones and what foods, if done correctly, can actually mitigate some of the sugars that you do bring in. It's important. Go on, Chris. You look like you want to say something to me.
Oh no, I was just stretching.
Oh, okay.
I do have a question. Well, yeah. So simple sugars versus complex sugars.
Yeah.
How does one determine, what is a simple sugar versus a complex sugar? I'm thinking in my head, the reason you call it a simple sugar is because you take a natural complex sugar and through the refining process, you strip things out. And that's what makes it simple. So is it also, similar to like what we would consider like processed sugar or refined sugar?
Yeah, it is basically. It's so when you think of a complex sugar, let me give you an example. You think of something that's grown in nature. So like a sweet potato or a fruit. These are naturally grown, God-given, and they naturally have a sugar component to them, right? They taste sweet. Then when you think of frosted flakes, well, there's nothing natural about frosted flakes. It's a simple sugar. It's got sugar added to it. It's heavily processed. And it's like a bumbo combo, really. That's how I would describe it. It sends the body into a state of kind of like, I don't know how to use this. So guess what? I'm gonna raise the alarm, which is the insulin, okay? And then the part of it that I cannot use, that cannot be broken down by glycogenesis, right? I'm gonna actually store as fat. So that's basically what happens. It's either it's a sugar that they can use, the body can use as fuel, or it's a sugar that the body will try to use as fuel for a minute, it loses its potency, and then it's stored as fat.
Gotcha. So then that also brings to mind some sneaky ways that sugar is getting into our diet. For example, ketchup and our different condiments that we use. Because like people, if I make a great salad, right? Let's say I'm listening to Sasha, I do some greens, I do some fruit, maybe some nuts, and then I put ranch dressing on top of it.
Oh,
I mean, what type of effect is that having, really? It's just a little bit of ranch.
yeah. One, I never use actually processed dressings. I just never do. I think you can make your own and they taste so much better, truthfully.
True.
But now, see, the thing is, most dressings have a lot of hidden sugars. And if you look on the back of, I don't have any processed stuff here to be able to show you, but if you look at the back of the ingredient list, you'll always see where it has the amount of sugar. Okay. Now, I'll go back to my example of the oat milk. Now, oat milk is not bad for you, but guess what? Depending on the brand of oat milk, we can go from 3 grams to 18 grams per serving. 18 grams of sugar in a tiny cup of sugar. That's insane. In a tiny cup of oat milk. That's insane. Your daily recommendation is 21 grams. What? You've got 18 in a cup of oat milk? And then you pair that with some fruits, or you pair that with a cereal even. Oh my God, like with a cereal? That's insane. And lots of people are giving that to their kids because they think, okay, well, it's better than dairy milk. So guess what? Let me just give them some oat milk and I'll put that with some frosted flakes and they're good to go to school. Well, no, that is why they have ADHD. That is why these things are happening, because you've got them so hyped on sugar, they can't even regulate themselves anymore. They can't sit still, even if they wanted to. Because sugar is a few molecules away from crack. Let's be real.
Oh, there you go.
So we have to be really mindful what we're doing when we are giving our loved ones sugar, right? It's really, really important. Now, I get that a lot of kids love cereal. My kids love cereal. But there's nothing wrong with making homemade granola and then storing it in a glass jar. It's a great cereal. And you can flavor it. And it's a really good option. I like to make quinoa puffs. Those are really good, right? You can also make millet porridge, or there are so many ancient grains that can be used to make cereals. So you don't have to, and actually there are brands, I believe it's called Sunset. I can't remember the name, but there is a brand that is very clean and it is ancient grain cereals. If you don't have time to make it yourself, you can actually buy it. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to be mindful and really look and say, okay, how important is it to me about my hormone health? How important is it? Because this is not just about when you reach your 50s and 60s. There are children as young as 9 and 8 having periods. That is really a big.
Yeah.
And that is because we have kind of, during pregnancy, mom could have ingested a lot of processed stuff, okay? And it's also genetic. It's coming through to the little baby. Also, a lot of people didn't breastfeed. Maybe they had formulas. In that has a lot of simple sugars. And then you've got to think about, again, what they're eating as they're growing between 0 to 9. What have you been feeding them? That also impacts on their hormonal health. Once upon a time, periods weren't happening until kids were like 15, until they were actually in puberty, right? Now we're seeing children with breasts and they're 8 years old. That doesn't make them feel good. Trust me. It draws attention to them that they're not even ready for at that young age from their peers in the classroom and stuff. So we really need to be mindful of how we are incorporating sugar into our life. Once upon a time, sugar was not the way it is now. When you think back to, I think the 1857? I don't know, around those times, right? In Britain, and I'm not a history buff, but we did study history in England, we had to, right? But back in those days, sugar had a taxation on it by the British royal family.
Yeah.
Okay. So people couldn't access sugar like we do now. It was strictly for the rich and the wealthy, and they would have it on special occasions. It was not accessible to the common person. When that taxation law was removed, sugar became accessible to everyone, and that's when it flooded the world, right? Because they realized, ooh, we can use it to top up on certain foods. We can use it as a buffer, as a filler.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very addictive, and it will have people coming back for more. They'll spend more money, and it will increase the economy. And that's what's basically happened. I mean, sugar's in things that you wouldn't even expect it to be in.
Right.
When I went sugar-free during my cancerous journey, right? I was like, well, sugar's not in that. Sugar's not. And I was like, oh my God, sugar's in that? Like, there was sugar in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was so surprised. I was like, I don't understand. The things that you wouldn't eat, things that don't even taste sweet. You're like,
Right.
oh. And let me give an example. So when you eat rice, you don't think of sugar because it's normally salty, it's savory, but it breaks down into sugar. When you eat a potato, you don't think it's normally sugary, but it breaks down into sugar. Like, and this is what I'm talking about. So in a day, and let's think about somebody, right? In a day, somebody may wake up and they'll have, typically, okay, this is just somebody, they may have a cup of coffee, okay? They may have, or a glass of orange juice. A glass of orange juice has 20 grams of sugar. That is your normal, what do they call it? Orange juice from concentrate.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about your fresh orange juice. I'm talking about orange juice from concentrate. Normally 21 grams of sugar, 20 grams of sugar in that. A normal glass, 8 ounces, okay? You're going to have that. Maybe you'll have a slice of toast. Sugar. So far, you've had caffeine that's dehydrated you, taken the water from your body. Mm-hmm. Then you've had a glass of orange juice, which is 20 grams of sugar. Your daily amount is 23. Mm-hmm. You've only got 3 grams of sugar left. And then you've had a slice of toast, which again has probably got 5 grams of sugar in it.
Sure.
You don't need any more sugar for the rest of the day. But guess what? You don't stop there because you don't see it as sugar. You don't feel like you've had anything sweet yet. You've only had breakfast. So then you're going to go and have lunch. And maybe lunch is a healthy wrap with lettuce and tomatoes and I don't know. And you've got a lovely wrap. But guess what? The wrap breaks down into sugar because most of the time the wrap is white tortilla. Then for dinner, you're going to have something healthy. So you feel you're going to have some broccoli, a little bit of steamed rice, and maybe some chicken. Guess what? Sugar again.
Right.
You see how you take it over the edge every single day? That doesn't even include dessert. Imagine now you're going to have a dessert after that. So this is why sugar is playing a role in your hormonal health every single day. And if you have diabetes or any of these hormonal disorders associated, so, and I'm talking thyroid issues, I'm talking acne, we're talking wide range because all of these have hormonal components and have sugar at the root. So there is so much PCOS, endometriosis, I'm talking hyperthyroidism, hyperthyroidism, Hashimoto's. We can keep going. It is Addison's. There is so much. And nobody is calling out the sugar as the culprit because we like it because it's sweet and it tastes good and it makes you feel good for a moment. How many people watching this live, and if you can comment, please do, how many people have a sugar crash around 3 or 4 o'clock every day? It is so common. It is so common to be going through your day and around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you feel exhausted. And that is a definite sign that there is too much sugar circulating. The pancreas is overwhelmed.
I used to have it all the time. As a matter of fact, when I was going through my, um, I was just at the very tip of my wellness journey because I was starting to realize, man, I'm really sick. You know,
Yeah.
I was 28 at the time when I started to
Yeah.
notice my hair was thinning, my
Mhm.
energy was low. I should be in my prime. I'm working as an electrician. I'm using my hands. I'm working out. I'm at the gym. Like, I'm living life. I'm supposed to be in my prime, but for some reason, I'd go to work,
Yeah.
and it was always after lunch, right? So we would eat right around noon. So we're
Yeah.
talking like 1 o'clock. I'm ready to go to sleep. I mean, and I don't know, Sash, I don't know if you realize, but like when you're a construction worker, you don't have all these different options as far as food. So either you're gonna bring your food with you or you eat
Oh,
from the food trucks.
oh, okay.
And so I'm sitting here listening to you, and all of the food was jam-packed full of sugar. All of it. Like, unbeknownst to us, you know, but we had the salsas and the dressings and everything we put on top. Then we
Mm.
would get, everything was in a tortilla. Because like I'm in Texas, so the food trucks, they're Mexican food. We got
Right,
the
right.
rice, we got the tortillas, we got the beans, we got the cheese. I mean, it's all sugar. And then you get your soda. You got to get your
Oh,
soda to go with it.
God. Okay. Yeah. Um, so I take it there's a lot of people that have hormonal challenges then. More than I even anticipated, actually. Because if that's how they're eating on a day-to-day basis, they probably aren't even aware just how messed up their hormones actually are.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Because I'll tell you now, right? I think women are a lot more in tune that, okay, we've got something going on hormonally because they have a cycle or lack thereof, right? They also have like different times in the month where the hormone level will change, progesterone will rise, and then it will drop, and then estrogen will take over. Like there are moments. So women are a lot more, I think, attuned to the fact that, okay, I have a hormonal shift happening. They get hot flashes, there are things, but men oftentimes I found in my practice that they aren't actually aware that it's hormonal until I show them. And then it's like, hormonal? Like it doesn't even register. It's like, what? I'm not a girl. Like, what? And I find it interesting because men have a lot of hormonal shifts. Lack of energy, especially after eating. They also have this kind of erectile dysfunction where it's not like it once was, right? It's not like it once was, and they put it down to, well, I'm getting older. Well, no, it should still be rock solid. That's not the reason. Right? And then there are also the challenges of that belly that comes and creeps on around. They reach a certain age point and the belly just appears like they've been drinking beers every single day. And oftentimes they're not even drinking beer. But it's to do with the fat, the adipose tissue that has collected around there because the liver is overworked. The relationship between the liver and the pancreas is so connected when it comes to your hormonal health. And when the pancreas is constantly overwhelmed, the liver's trying to step in and say, okay, let me see what I can do. But guess what? It's just going to store the fat. It's just going to move the fat. That's it. It's not going to allow the pancreas to down-regulate the insulin. And that's why I keep saying to people, you have to learn about your hormonal health because it's empowering. When you understand how everything works, you get to take back your power. You get to be able to say, do you know what? Instead of having that donut, I'm going to choose a complex carbohydrate today because I'm working on my hormonal health. I had a gentleman come in with his wife and they were struggling with, having a great intimate time. Been together a long time. And, I love that they came together. I thought that was very powerful as a couple, right? And he was willing to make some changes. And I said, okay, so first and foremost, I want you off all simple sugars. And he didn't understand, and I explained and I showed him. And he was like, Sasha, that is like everything I eat. You're
Right.
asking me to take away everything. And I said, I need you to do that for 30 days. I need you to be disciplined for 30 days. Okay. I said, we're going to focus on your essential fats. We're going to focus on making sure that you have complex sugars with each meal and a protein and some essential fats. Okay, because essential fats are responsible for the cellular membrane integrity. If you do what I'm saying, you will be like a 18-year-old again. He said, I don't know if that's going to happen. This has been a long time. I said, give me 30 days of your life. And you know, before the 30 days, he didn't even call me. His wife called me thanking me, like, yo, girl. I said, okay, say more. I don't want all the details. I want people to look
Say
at
less.
You know what I mean? Like, but I'm glad you're happy, and I'm happy for you that you're happy.
Yeah.
But this is the real thing. Like, people think you have to live with these abnormalities because they are abnormalities, but you don't. You absolutely don't. Am I promising you that you'll be like 18-year-old in 30 days? I can't promise you that. I don't know you. I don't know your body. But what I will tell you is your body is capable of restoring itself to balance because that's the way it's designed. It's always looking for homeostasis. So if you begin to work the pathway, right, and start to do the things that promote the body's natural functionality, it's like you're helping it do its job. But every day, for the most part, people are doing the opposite of what the body wants it to do. If your body's not used to simple sugars and all of these refined processed sugars, and every day you decide to engage in them, well, what do you think is going to happen? Logically, it doesn't take a genius. Just be logical about it. It's like you having a child and you say to your child every day, don't go down that road. Because if you go down that road, you know you're going to get robbed by the gang that stands on the corner. And every day the kid goes down the same road and comes back without their wallet or without their lunch money. Well, didn't you tell them don't go that way? It's a logical thing. It's a logical thing. Every day we're engaging in the thing that compromises our hormonal health. Stop doing it for a period of time. And then when you do introduce it back, it's so infrequent that it does not create the storm.
Because what's happening is we are bombarding our system with this stuff. It's like the body of, you know, people always say, Chris, do I got to do this for the rest of my life? I got to be so strict. I got to be perfect. I might as well not do it. No, you're exaggerating. You're going too far. The body is designed to be able to process trash out. It is. That's the only reason why you're alive now. It's just like you give it trash every day, all day. We're just asking you to stop giving your body trash every day, all day.
That's it.
When you talk about like erectile dysfunction, they say that there's 30 million men in America that have it, right?
Yeah.
But I've never been asked, do I have erectile dysfunction? So where are they getting these numbers from? So there's probably 3 times that amount of men that actually are dealing with it.
Because it's embarrassing. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Of course not. And there's a spectrum because men are experiencing it infrequently as well, right? Especially, and then the crazy thing is these are young men too. Like when I was growing up, it was the old heads in the barbershop talking about taking a little blue pill. And I kind of laughed at them. You know, we had a joke about it. They were like, you know, I'm gonna take my girl. We going on the cruise. We doing the vacation. I gotta get my little pills. Da da da. These guys were in their 50s, so we always looked at it as like, okay, you get older in age. You just want to make sure you come in strong. It's vacation, and they get their pills. But now we've got 28-year-old, 26-year-old, early 30 men talking about taking Blue Chew.
Yeah.
You know, so it's and men, this is a great example for men because men care about this. There's when it comes to natural health and wellness and stuff, men typically don't care as much, but they care about their sexual performance.
And you see, the thing is, right, we have to understand that it's not only just about the sexual performance, right? Because you have to realize that sugar is a poison as a simple sugar. And after a while, that poison has to find somewhere to reside. And this is where tumors begin to form. And men aren't exempt from those tumors.
Nope.
Prostate health is a very big area. And we know that the number one killer in the US and Canada and the UK, like those modern Western countries, is heart disease, right? But what we don't realize is that sugar is one of the major culprits that interferes with our hormonal health, that leads to a hormonal storm that creates metabolic cardiovascular problems. And this is the thing. We're all kind of walking around like, I don't know how I got cancer. I don't know how I got sick. I don't know how. Well, I'm telling you how. Every day, you add a load onto your body's natural functionality. You make it work harder. And then you don't just do it for that one day and then say, okay, let me give you a break for a week or two. Oh, no. The next day, you drive past that bakery or that cafe and you grab another donut or a muffin or a piece of toast, or you never stop funneling it in. Some of you are watching this right now, munching on something that you shouldn't. You just are. And it's not for me to judge you, but it's for me to draw awareness to what you're doing. Because awareness gives you choices, and choices give you freedom. When you choose, you get to decide, do I want to do this? Because now I have the knowledge behind me, or am I just doing it because I don't know any better? The difference is when you know better, you are empowered to do better. And that's why these lives are so important. And that's why this course is so important, because it's an opportunity for you to literally learn about your hormonal health, but not only all of the functionality and all of the bad things that can happen, but then what you can do to change it, to change it. That's what you want to know. Okay, Sasha, great. You've told me how this works. You've told me how that works. Now, what can I do? That's the part. And, you know, I, as far as I'm concerned, it's a no-brainer. Why would you not want to empower yourself and take back control of your health? Stop outsourcing your health to everybody who just went to school, like you could have gone to school if you chose to. You know what I mean? Like, stop giving away your power to everybody else. You decide what goes in your mouth. Nobody else. Nobody's forcing it down your throat. And when you see what it's actually doing to you, you'll begin to think differently about it. I get it. The addiction is real. I get it. You crave it, especially when you're feeling bad. I just want a piece of cake. I just want a chocolate. I just want that dopamine hit. I get it. But you know what? As you begin to learn about how it's really working in your system, you'll be more open to the idea of a different dopamine hit. And I will help you to pinpoint alternative dopamine hits. Some could be exercise. Some could be fruit. Some could be getting around people that make you belly laugh. There are other dopamine hits. It doesn't have to come from a Snicker bar.
The sun is a dopamine hit for me.
Absolutely. Getting out in nature is a dopamine hit for me. Anytime I'm out walking in nature, I feel amazing.
Yeah. Intention is extremely important when it comes to, okay, so we're learning how our body functions. We're learning how, you know, our normal habits, our daily habits are impacting our health. Yeah. Maybe we're young and maybe we feel like, oh, we've got all the time in the world. Well, the thing that's interesting about being young in America today, you know, and I'm sure most modern countries are like this, is that we are aging much more rapidly than we did in the past. And when I say aging, I'm not saying chronologically. I'm saying the health of your body or the lack thereof. You are becoming more unhealthy more rapidly than your parents and your grandparents, because the processed foods are just going up, 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 up. They're tricking us into thinking that somehow it's cheaper to manufacture a bottle of Coke than it is to manufacture a bottle of water. I don't understand how this is making sense, but this is what's happening, right? And then, of course, we've got all of the pharmaceutical companies that are advertising. Sasha, are they allowed to advertise in Canada?
What do you mean? Just put advert?
Pharmaceutical companies. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. They're not allowed to advertise in most countries. There's only a couple of countries where they're allowed to advertise.
I will tell you, I never saw a pharmaceutical advertisement in the UK ever in my life. Okay.
There you go.
And I came to Canada, and I can't tell you which brand it was because I don't remember. Okay. But I remember this, and it shocked me. I was in my front room. Okay. And I was sitting down, and the TV came on, and an advert came on. And the advert seemed really just like, it was flowy. It was really nice. And then all of a sudden, the voice changed, and they started reeling off all of these problems that you could get from this drug. After they just had this beautiful advert about how it makes you feel good, and you'll be better, and you'll be, oh my gosh. And then you'll get this and this and this and this, and cancer of this and cancer of that. I was like, is that the same advert? I was so confused. I said, who in their right mind would take that drug after it just listed all of the possible side effects that went on for longer than the bloody advert itself?
Yeah.
It was insane to me. I was like, this is insane.
This is what's happening. This is the culture here. And so it's normalizing this ease. See, we don't have any mainstream outlets, whether it's school or like church. Nobody is telling us, hey, this ease is not normal. This ease is not natural, right? Like the rate at which we get cancer, you've got, 13% of the male population here in America is going to get prostate cancer, which is a terrible cancer. 13%. And I'm sure that number is up from probably less than 1%, not more than probably 50, 60 years ago. And people think, oh, it's 13%. That's not a lot. What? If there's 150 million men in America, we're talking what, 20 million men?
It's high.
And it's like, these men are your dads, your uncles, your brothers, your boyfriends, your sneaky links.
Oh,
and here's the crazy part. In America, I'm talking America because I know the numbers a little bit better, but the ratio of men to women is not good. It's not one man to one woman, right? You could say because of war, you could say because we work more dangerous jobs, but there are less men in America than there are women. So when we just talk about from the standpoint of mating and people getting together, there's such a small pool of men available. So those 13% of men that getting prostate cancer and dying, they're important people. You know what I mean? Like, women, y'all should be learning this information and sharing it with the men in your family, and especially your sons.
absolutely.
Because they're the future. But what we're seeing is people are dying, 30 years old is midlife, Sasha.
That's
30
insane.
years old is midlife.
That's insane. That's actually insane. I have a 20-year-old son, and I'm like, he's just starting his life as far as I'm concerned. You're in the beginning. You haven't lived. You don't know anything yet. I would hate to think 10 years from now is midlife. Like, what? That's insane.
It's insane.
Oh, no, that's insanity. No. Okay, so that being said, Sunday, the 29th. Like, I can't stress enough how important it is that we begin to take this seriously. I get it. YouTube is a great space for getting free information. Brilliant. Happy that you're here. Happy that you're listening. But there comes a moment where you've got to put your money where your mouth is, and you've got to decide, do you know what? I choose me. I choose me. I choose to get the information that I need to change my current situation. I choose me. I choose my family. I choose my loved ones to be the beacon of light that can show them how to change. Sometimes you've got to make a decision and a choice. If I didn't make the decisions and the choices that I have made, and by the grace of God, I wouldn't even be here today to share this information with you. Sometimes you have to make a decision in life. And I'll tell you now, this opportunity may not come again. I may not run another hormone course. You may have to learn it from somebody else or somewhere else. So that is the reason why I say to you, if you have the means to do it, and Chris has made it super affordable because he split it up even more. I don't know how it's possible. In my mind, I'm like 119, whoop, whoop, whoop. And Chris is like, no, I'm going to split it up even more for them. I'm going to make it more of it. I'm like, what? But listen, that has been done for you. So if you are not doing this and it's been made so available to you, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want nobody to call me and book a free consultation to talk to you about your hormones after you've had an opportunity to be in this course and you did not go in this course. I'm serious, because I am the most welcoming person. I'll always be there, but I will be asking you, why was you not in the course? I will want to know, because actually there comes a moment where you cannot be spoon-fed anymore. You have to stand up and say, you know what? I value me. I value my life. I value me, and I need this information. I am not going to just look to everybody else to fix me. It's important.
I'm gonna tell y'all something that you just reminded me of. This is a personal story. I'm not gonna name names, but I have a family member who maybe about 7 years ago now, I had a conversation with them about health, and we have diabetes that runs in the family, so on both sides. So you know, when I learned how to reverse diabetes, I started sharing it with all my family first. And me and John actually sat down with the family and we talked, because John had pre-diabetes.
I remember.
Jonathan was what they call a symptomatic pre-diabetic. So
Right.
he had diabetes. He had all the symptoms. There was no difference between him and a diabetic. And we reversed it through dietary strategy, understanding what you can eat, what you can't eat, and all of the things that Sasha's talking about today, but we didn't understand it in the depth that Sasha's going to be teaching it. But we were able to do that. And so she didn't listen. She did not apply. And then maybe 2 years later, she was reaching out telling me that now she's a diabetic. And it was the most frustrating thing to hear. And so now it's like, well, Chris, what do I do? I said, everything I told you to do 2 years ago. Like, before you got to this place, I gave you the information so that you never had to get here. Now, 5 years later, still a diabetic. Still not making the changes. Do you know why, Sasha? Because getting the disease doesn't change who you are. It's not as if you have the opportunity to learn how to prevent a disease that you know runs rampant in the family, and you get that information, you ignore it, and then you get the disease, and then you apply the information. That's not how it works. You're still that same person that wasn't worried about the information in the first place. Now you have it. Now you're just going to make excuses about why you have it and why you can't get rid of it. So you got to change your mindset today anyway, because getting the disease doesn't stop it. I've got so many people in my family that currently have diabetes, and we have shown them time and time again. Me and Steve did a 40-day wellness class, and we had diabetes coming in and non-diabetics going out. Beautiful. It was a revolving door of people having diabetes and not having diabetes. And yet the people closest to me, just years, 7 years, just holding on, 10 years, 15 years, just holding on to it.
Wow.
And how much is that medication, by the way?
It's cheap. It's ever metformin and all. And the thing is, right, and the insulin, what people don't understand, right, is that the body adapts to what you take. So once you've been taking these drugs, it's even harder to come off them because it becomes an adaptogen. the body wants it. It craves it. You have to understand, it is a synthetic form of what your body naturally produces. So guess what? The body's like, well, I love it because it's what I naturally used to produce and I don't produce anymore. So give it to me.
Yep.
And this is why whenever you take synthetic drugs that mimic a hormone that you naturally produce, it's the most dangerous kind of drug because the body craves it. It wants it because it's what it naturally used to do itself. Do you want to be a counterfeit? That's the question. Do you want everything in your body to be a counterfeit? To me, that's like a disrespect to God. I'm like, no, absolutely not. You made me perfectly and wonderfully. Why would I do that to myself? Why? Why would I disrespect what you did? No, I'm not going to do that. You got to honor your body. You've got to take care of it because it's the only one you've got in this lifetime. So therefore, what you do matters. And guess what? I know hormones are a complex, you know, there's so many moving components when it comes to hormonal health. And that is why I have broken it down for you into digestible pieces to explain to you over 3 weeks. So you don't have to fake the funk and try to figure it out on your own and read a ton of books and, you know, read loads of medical journals and try to understand. I'm doing it for you. I've done it for you. It's there available to you. And you have the option to get help as you begin to understand it. When you get your guide, as you're reading through it, you have questions, drop them down on the Q&A form. They will be addressed on Thursday calls. There is nothing in this where we are expecting you to just figure it out. But we are expecting you to sign up and be committed to showing up. That's what I tell people all the time. When anyone takes my course, I have one request: show up. I don't care if you don't get everything straight away. I don't expect you to. You don't have a degree in anatomy and physiology, and that's okay. But I need you to show up so that I can give you the information. Because like Chris says, once you have the knowledge and you apply it, that's where change happens. That's where transformation occurs.
Share this video out, y'all.
You're being set up with information. And again, sugar is huge when it comes to your hormonal health. But guess what? I'm not saying to you, never eat anything sweet again. Nobody's saying that to you.
Right.
But what we're saying is be intentional and get the knowledge around what sugar you can have and how it can support your body. You know, I don't go without sugar. I love sweet things. But I'm very mindful in what I have and how I have it and what comes with it, what comes before it, you know, and how I burn it off.
That's maintenance. Like if you guys don't get this part, if you skip this part, the more intricate understanding of how you gained weight and how you lost weight, if you just listen to what you need to do to lose weight, are you gonna lose weight? Yeah, you'll lose weight. If you just do
and you will come back.
The what to do, but then you're gonna end up right back where you started because you don't know why you gained weight, you don't know why you lost weight, you're fiddling around, you're trying to figure it out. This is the reason why Sasha and I came together. We're like, how can we help the community? I want you guys to not just lose weight. I've had so many people lose 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds or more. Man, we've had people lose 150 pounds, 200 pounds and gain it all back. Do you know how disturbing that is? You know, because it's like, first of all, I know the difficulty of losing that weight. Absolutely. And then the mindset that has to come along with, now you got to try to lose it all again.
And can I just say the health implications of that are huge, because not only have you lost all of that weight, which is fantastic, but now you've gained it back and now the body is confused. You have the body in complete confusion and the hormones are a complete mess now. Because it was feeling like, oh my gosh, they're bringing me into balance. I'm about to be in balance. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And then it's like, I'm joking. No, jokes. I'm sending you right back to the hell that you were in before.
Right.
And this is the thing, right? It's like sometimes we get caught up in the aesthetics of everything. And I'm vain, don't get me wrong. Like, who isn't? But the truth is, it's bigger than that. Your health is bigger than how you look, guys. Really, it is. When I thought I was dying, or when I was actually dying, but when I was dying, right? I'm not going to lie to you. I did not care about how I looked.
Mm.
If I had sleep in my eye, I didn't care. If my hair wasn't combed, I didn't care, because that wasn't the focus. My focus was prayer and God, please get my bowels to stop emptying themselves without my control.
Mm.
Can I have control back of those? Can you stop the pain all over my body? Like the focus had shifted from the vanity and the aesthetic appearance to the functionality of my body. And this is why you always hear me come back to it's cellular health. It's regenerating your cellular health and making sure that your hormones function is a part of your cellular regeneration. A very, very important part of cellular regeneration. Because your hormones are constantly talking. They are messengers. When we think about our brain health, it's hormonal. The hypothalamus releases hormones. Your pituitary, the master gland, releases hormones. Your adrenals release, like, you cannot separate. Hormones are a part of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, really and truly, this is such an important course. I didn't put it as a foundational course because gut health and lymph are my specialities, right? So those are my foundation courses. But hormonal came right after as number 3 because of how important and impactful it is and how much it ties to everything else. And I'll say this again, it is not one that you can just be like, oh, okay, well, I think I know. You don't know. You don't. Because if you are dealing with any imbalances in your body, you need to look at the hormonal elements. And most of the time, your physician is not. They are not. That is not where they're looking. They do not. When you go for your routine yearly scan, do they check your hormones? Tell me. Because most of the time, they do not. Most of the time, they do a blood panel. And they check, your vitals and send you on your way. Are they checking for your TSH, your T3, your T4? Are they checking for your norepinephrine? Are they doing that? Is your cortisol levels being checked? I don't think so, because these are normal panels that you are paying for and you are separately requesting. And normally it's because you're having some sort of symptomology that requires them to do extra tests.
Mm-hmm.
It is not part of your routine, and it should be. Because we can catch things and be preventative before it takes hold to a disease or a disorder. And that is what this course is about, preventative health. And it's no one else's responsibility but your own. You have to take initiative about your health. I can't preach about this enough. It is your responsibility. And especially if you're a parent. Oh my God. If you are a parent or a grandparent on this live, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, auntie, uncle, guardian of some sort to young people, if you are not taking this course, I don't understand you. It is our job to spread the good news to the younger generation, to tell them how they can improve their lives. It is our job, it's our responsibility. You're going to wait for them to get into a disease and then be like, oh, well, I heard from this girl once on a live, that, it is reversible, but I never took the course. So I don't really know how, but I think it is reversible though. Like, what? We got to do better. We have to do better. Like, we just have to. And again, I'll go back to sugar. Sugar is a number 1 issue that plagues us every single day. We are eating it left, right, and center, and we're not acknowledging that we're eating it. And we've got to stop for a period of time. We have to put it under control. Oh, well, welcome. Empower her. I'm excited. Can't wait to meet you.
The link is in the chat for those who've been asking. I put it throughout the chat. It's also in the description box. If you're watching this video later, it'll be in the description box and in the comment section, so you guys can find it. The course starts September 29th, which is Sunday. It's the last Sunday of the month. And go ahead.
Sorry to cut you. And guys, listen, it's recorded as well. So don't worry. I know some people have lots of conflicting schedules, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna be able to do week 1 and week 2. I'm gonna miss that Sunday. Well, don't worry. All the content is recorded. So that's not a reason not to be there. In fact, it's even better reason, because if it's recorded, it means you get to revisit it and go over it again and go over it again. All right. I need you guys to watch it more than once. Right. Because the truth is, I'm going to be sharing information that might blow your head a bit at first, because it might be new. Maybe not to all of you, but some of you. And that's okay, because it's designed in a way that is digestible. You watch it once and then you go back, make some notes, get some questions, and then go back and revisit it again. That's how I learn. And that's the reason why it's designed in this way, to be able to provide you with, oh, hold on. I'm already signed up for the course, and I'm looking for, oh, fantastic. Do you know what? I love your names, guys. The other one was Empowered Her. This was Authentically Mariah. You guys have some fabulous names. I love that. I do love that. That's amazing. Well, thank you for everyone that has joined. I'm excited to see you all in there. I think this is going to be epic, because again, I think the course is really who joins is what makes the course. The content's great, but the questions that are asked open up a whole new dialogue. So the more you engage, the more I'm able to break things up and kind of delve deeper into what you need to know. So this is going to be good. I'm excited.
It's going to be excellent. I'm looking forward to hearing the feedback, seeing the testimonials. We brought one of Sasha's course members on our last live stream. You guys can go check that out if you just want to get an idea of, you know, what it's like to work with Sasha. But you know, we've done our best to make it a no-brainer. Once again, the course is $119. If you guys want to join, and price is an issue, I've also added the option to be able to pay over the course of 8 weeks. So you have afterpay and forepay available. And so there you go. These classes are specialty classes, you all. They are one-time offers only. We have no plans to offer these classes again in the future. This is a labor of love, if you will, from both Sasha and I. We're doing it. It's huge. It's at a price point that's supposed to be as affordable as possible, but she's giving a lot, so we can't ask her to continue to do it like this. So just take advantage of it. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
And I'll tell you now, right? It's because I know that you guys want to be the best versions of yourself. I know that. I know AHA community. I've been in the community. I see the conversations. I get it. I know that you guys want to be the best versions of yourself. And you can be. Do you know, I'm going to be 10 years cancer-free next month. 10 years.
You beat the odds.
Terminal cancer, right? And it's going to be 10 years. And I'm telling you now, right? Sometimes I wake up and the first thing I say is I'm grateful. You know what I mean? Thank you, Lord, I'm grateful. But I look at myself in the mirror and I think, look at the goodness of God. Everything has regenerated. Everything. I had no hair, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. Like, nobody can tell me that the body isn't capable of restoration. Nobody can tell me there isn't a God either. But, you know, it's what's happened, you know? And I want everyone to experience that. I don't want to keep it to myself. I want everyone to experience true health. It is so freeing. Oh my goodness. To be able to run up a flight of stairs and not be out of breath and not have joint pain and be able to jump up and down on a rebounder with your 5-year-old nephew and keep up with him. Like, it's the most freeing feeling.
Yeah.
When once upon a time, they had to push me in a wheelchair to get from room to room.
Mm.
And my mum would feed me and wipe my backside.
Mm.
Like, that was my life. So that's why I feel so passionate. And that's why it sounds like I'm just, come on, guys. But because I've been there and I know what hell looks like.
Mm.
And I don't want that for anybody. If I can save you from that by sharing with you that, guess what, there's another way, then I'm going to share that with you. And then you get to decide what you want to do. But you can never say that you weren't warned.
Sasha, you reaching them tonight.
Hello, garden vibes. I love that. I have a sister going through a lot. Yeah, okay. Definitely. We will, when we get to Q&A, we'll work through that.
Look how generous that is. So now you can join in the place of someone else and ask questions for them.
Absolutely.
And then share that knowledge with them.
Exactly.
One of the things that I hear so often, and I said it myself, I wish I had this information before, right?
Oh, you do.
And the before is always before this person died or that person died or this person got this organ removed or that limb cut off. It's always, I wish I had the information before. No matter where you are right now, no matter who you are, what you've experienced, this is the before. Because even if you did lose someone that you love already, you have the opportunity to save someone you love now. Even if you did lose one limb, now you have the opportunity to save the other limb. Even if you did lose, or you know someone who lost an organ or you know, their thyroid or something like that, you have the opportunity to learn how to save the next person. So this is the before. This is the chance to learn, understand before the next whatever. And then you can at least give that information to that person, teach that person, especially if it's your children. You have no idea what type of impact you may have on your children or your grandchildren.
Exactly.
You know? So,
and that's the thing, right? We live in a world where it's not just the talking and the saying, it's the doing. When your kids see you doing different, that speaks volumes. When your grandkids see you doing different, you become a living example to them. In a world where there's so much bad examples, seeing you do different will make a difference for them. My children are 20 and one will be 18 next month. And I will tell you now, it's hilarious because they almost have this this aversion to health and wellness. They're like, oh, mom's so over the top. We don't want to be like her. Okay. But when anything goes on with any of their friends, I hear them on the phone telling them what to do. And I just listen and laugh to myself because it's so innate in them that they don't even have to come and say, oh, mum, Rare's got this going on. They already know. They're like, okay, listen. All right. So what I would say is get some ginger. Okay. Now boil it here. And they're so in tune because they've lived this life for the last 10 years that they know what to do. And I'm like, this is hilarious. But if I talk to them about, oh, mum, oh, I don't want to hear about you, you green lady. Like, you know, but they're able to compute it and translate it to people they care about in their lives, i.e. their friends. And that's what I'm talking about when you are a living example of what you're trying to teach. And that's what I encourage you all to be. It's not about being perfect. I'm not perfect. I eat cake. I do eat cake. Vegan cake. Yes, I do. But I don't eat cake every day. It's my daughter's birthday next month. I will eat cake. Do you understand what I mean? It's not that, but it's picking and choosing and knowing your whys and understanding what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why.
Mm-hmm. I love birthday cake, by the way. And I used to eat cake. I used to eat cake regularly.
They're lining up. What did you say? Sorry.
They're signing up. I used to eat cake regularly. I used to eat ice cream regularly. I used to have a routine of going when I lived in Cincinnati, I'd go to Buskin's Bakery. For anybody from Cincinnati or that region, you know, Buskin's is that spot. And they have wedding cakes and all kinds of stuff, but they have leftover cake that they didn't sell, and they cut it up into these little squares. They're not little, they're pretty big. And they're like back in the day, there was like $1. Now they might be $2. I don't know. And I'd go buy a little thing of cake and, 2 or 3 of them. And me and my friends once a week would eat it with our ice cream. And I had it all the time. Now I have wedding cake, maybe birthday cake or wedding cake, maybe a couple times a year.
There you go.
I have ice cream maybe a couple times a year.
There you go.
That's why I'm able to maintain so seamlessly. It's not seamless. Well, it's seamless for me because it's lifestyle.
Yeah. And this is the thing. And this is the thing that I teach, right? It's not you have to be perfect, because there is no perfect. But what you have to be is intentional. Intentional. And there is a period of time when you are in imbalance with your hormones where you do have to be very restrictive in order to get them back into alignment. That is very important. We cannot fake the funk with that. You need to get them back into working order. And then we can create some sort of maintenance plan that makes sense for you. But you've got to get them back in order first. That's important. Imagine me if I was in my cancer journey and I'm like, well, I fancy a piece of wedding cake. Well, guess what? The sugar fuels the cancer. So what am I going to do? Just be like, well, maybe just today I'll have a piece of cake. Well, the cancer's not going to be like, well, just today, because you've had just today, I'm not going to keep spreading. It's going to keep spreading. So that's why I was intentional in cutting it out for a period of time. Now I can.
Right.
And I don't run the risk of being, woo, I got cancer. No.
Right.
Because I've rebuilt the integrity of my immune system, the integrity of my hormonal health, the integrity of my gut, the integrity of my lymphatic system. There was intention behind building all of those organs back before I decided, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to partake in the things that I know are not ideal for my health, but on the odd occasion, it's not the end of the world. So it's exciting, guys. I find it exciting. I don't know. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to anatomy and physiology. I love it. But I find it exciting because once you know about your health, no one can take that from you. That's in your head. Like, no one can take it. It's yours. You know it.
There you go. Hey, y'all. I need you to like this video, share it out, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I think that's everything we got tonight, Sasha.
Yeah. We did great. It was fun. It was fun times.
We had several people sign up live with us tonight. I know many more of you guys are going to sign up. So many people have already signed up. So it's going to be a great space. Get ready to join September 29th. It's $119. The link's in the description. It's in the comment box. That's it. Have a good night, everybody.
Night. See you all soon.